Hello everybody, welcome to the NXT results. I will be going over the show and highlights for July 1st, 2025. We start off with a match to start off the show. Hendry versus Wes Lee with Ryze. Trick Williams joins the commentary team for this match. We start off with a collar and elbow tie-up, a wrist lock exchange. Hendry brings Lee down to the mat. Hendry with a fireman's carry takeover. Hendry maintains wrist control. Lee kicks Hendry in the face. Lee applies a wrist lock of his own. Lee drives his knee into the midsection of Hendry. Hendry with a side headlock takeover. Lee answers with a head scissors escape. Hendry is playing mind games with Lee. Hendry ducks a clothesline from Lee. Lee rolls under a clothesline from Hendry. Lee mule kicks the left shoulder of Hendry. Hendry runs around Lee. Hendry drops Lee with a shoulder tackle. Hendry goes for a vertical suplex, but Lee shows his athleticism and lands on his feet. Lee kicks Hendry in the face. Lee with a hurricanrana that sends Hendry to the outside floor. Lee with a baseball slide drop kick. Lee starts gloating on the outside. Hendry with an inside out lariat. Hendry stares at Trick Williams, who was on commentary, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Hendry has complete control of the match during the break. Hendry whips Lee across the ring. Lee holds onto the ropes. Tariq Ngay trips Hendry from the outside when the referee wasn't looking. Hendry is mad. Lee lands the suicide dive. Lee rolls Hendry back into the ring. Hendry grabs the left ankle of Lee. Lee with a back heel kick. Lee hits a twisting 450 splash for a 1-2 kick out. Lee pie-faced Hendry. Lee with 2 haymakers. Hendry shoves Lee. Lee rocks Hendry with the pump kick. Lee goes for a satellite DDT, but Hendry counters with a vertical suplex. Hendry is throwing haymakers at Lee. Hendry whips Lee across the ring. Hendry clotheslines Lee. Hendry follows it up with a follow-away slam. Hendry pops back up on his feet and plays to the crowd. Hendry goes for the standing ovation, but Lee blocks it and lands on his feet. Hendry and Lee are trading back and forth shots. Hendry catches Lee in midair and goes into a fireman's carry slam for a 1-2 kick out. Ryze continues to run interference. Mike Santana shows up and eliminates Ryze from the equation. Hendry dodges the step up enziguri and connects with the standing ovation for the 1-2-3. And your winner of the match is Hendry. After the match, Hendry and Santana stare at Trick Williams. Next we have a segment between Tony D'Angelo, Luca Cristofino, and Stax. We start off with Luca talking. Tony D'Angelo has been questioning my loyalty since Stand and Deliver. And after last week, I want to put that to bed. I want to put this to rest. Tony, please come out here. Tony D'Angelo shows up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Everybody look at this. My concierge is calling me out here. How have the tables turned, Luca? Tony, you seem to think that everyone is against you. Oh no, you're right. You're not out to get me. At least that's what the last month has said. You see, last week, you screwed me in my Heritage Cup and served it on a platter for Stacks. Lucas said, and then you punched me in the face. Listen, I recall it correctly. You were the one who hit me first. Luca, Tony, I gave you the respect. I listened to you. Now you're gonna listen to me. You want to talk about loyalty? Fine. Let's talk about loyalty. Loyalty is me leaving college with 1 year of eligibility at Denquise University for our family because you asked me to. Loyalty is me turning down job offers from top tier law firms in the country without hesitation for a job I've wanted since I was a child. I've turned down and given everything that I've done up this point for a chance, Tony. For a chance to be in the WWE, and you know without a doubt that I have never done a thing to doubt you, Tony. Never. And you know what that is? That's loyalty. Stacks comes out with his Heritage Cup. Luca, I gotta say, I wouldn't be standing here, your Heritage Cup champion, if it wasn't for you. So thank you, man. Stirring up the pot. Tony, Luca, listen to me. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This stuff right here. Luca to Stacks. Shut the hell up. You're not part of this family. This is between me and Tony. And Tony says, yes, Stacks, this is between me and my concierge. Luca drops to Don with a straight right hand. Stack walks into the ring and talks smack. Luca proceeds to punch Stacks as well. Then he says, my loyalty lies with myself. Next we have the second match on NXT. Myles Borne versus Lexis King. Collar and elbow tie up to start the match. A wrist lock exchange. King kicks Borne in the face. King whips Borne across the ring. King drops down on the canvas. King leapfrogs over Borne. Borne lunges over King. King walks over the drop down trip from Borne. King applies a side headlock. King whips Borne across the ring. King goes for a leapfrog, but Borne counters with a belly-to-belly suplex. Borne with the gator roll. Borne is playing mind games with King. King kicks Borne in the gut. King with a knife-edge chop. Borne reverses out of the Irish whip from King. King launches Borne over the top rope. Borne with a straight right hand. Borne ascends to the top turnbuckle. King drop kicks Borne. King is throwing haymakers at Borne. King slaps Borne in the chest. King with the superplex for a 2 count, and then mocks the Florida Gators players in the crowd. King and Borne are trading back and forth shots. King drives his knee into the midsection of Borne. King sends Borne to the corner. King with a corner clothesline. King with a blistering chop. King follows that up with a running corner drop kick for a 2 count. King applies the sitting abdominal stretch. King punches Borne in the jaw. Borne with a forearm. King drives Borne face first into the middle turnbuckle pad. King with a fake out slap. Borne is ticked. Borne blocks a boot from King. Borne with rapid fire haymakers. Borne whips King across the ring. Borne with 2 clotheslines in a row. Goes for a third, but he ducks. Borne uppercuts King. Borne sends King to the corner. King ducks. Borne with a back elbow smash. King goes for the super kick, but Borne counters with a beautiful Olympic slam for 1, 2, kick out. King rakes the eyes of Borne. King ducks a clothesline from Borne. King super kicks Borne. Borne denies the coronation. Borne ducks a clothesline from King. Borne drop kicks King. Borne connects with the zigzag for a 1, 2, 3. And your winner of the match is Myles Borne by pinfall. And he celebrates with George Gumps Jr. and Tyreek Sapp of the Florida Gators college football team. Next we have a vignette from Darkside, and they say NXT has been chaotic ever since they showed up, and that they allowed it to be like that. Darkside said they will declare and take out anybody who is falling behind and lacking. Next we have the third match. Thea Hale versus Lainey Reid. We start off with a collar and elbow tie-up. Reid drives her knee into the midsection of Hale. Reid pulls Hale down to the mat. Reid talks smack to Hale. Hale with a double leg takedown. Hale transitions into a ground and pound attack. Hale applies a wrist lock. Hale kicks out the legs of Reid. Hale with a low enziguri. Hale with the standing moonsault for a 1, 2 kick out. Hale slams Reid's head on the top turnbuckle pad. Hale with a running hip attack. Reid blocks it and hits an exploder suplex. Hale ducks Reid with a back elbow smash. Hale with a standing moonsault for a 2 count. Reid catches Hale in midair. Reid dumps Hale's face first on the top turnbuckle pad. Reid with a release German suplex. Reid with some hammer elbows. Reid stomps on Hale's face. Reid is choking Hale with her boot and hammers down on the back of Hale's neck and whips Hale across the ring. Reid drops Hale with a corkscrew uppercut and applies a rear chinlock. Reid drives her knee into the midsection of Hale and then hits a double underhook shoulder breaker for a 2 count. Reid is putting the boots to Hale. Hale avoids the elbow drop. Hale fights from underneath. Hale kicks Reid in the face. Hale with the divorce court. Hale with 2 running axe handles. Strikes. Hale ducks a clothesline from Reid and kicks the right knee of Reid. Hale with a sliding lariat and a running facebuster combination for a 2 count. Hale is displaying her frustration. Reid with a shoulder block from the Reid ring apron. Reid with an elevated enziguri. Hale blocks the vertical suplex. Hale applies the Amora lock. Reid sweeps out the legs of Hale and the referee catches Reid using the middle rope for leverage. Hale with the O'Connor roll for a 1, 2 kick out, and then Reid connects with a running knee strike for the 1, 2, 3. Reid was holding the bottom rope as the referee was making the count, but was unaware of it. So your winner, Lainey Reid by pinfall. Next we have Jasper Troy with a promo. He says the NXT locker room is in fear of Femi. He's dominant, he's invincible, he's a titan. But did he look that way when he was in the ring with me? The NXT champion barely survived. And now I'm only one match away from the rematch that I want. I know Oba is rooting for Amora because he knows what's waiting at the Great American Bash. If I get my hands raised tonight, Amora, I'm going through you. And Oba Femi, you may be backed by destiny, but your destiny is mine. Next is the fourth match of the night. Ruca and Zaria versus Izzi Dame and Paxley with the Culling. Ruca and Paxley will start things off. Scylla is arguing with Paxley. Zaria walks into the ring. Dame shoves Zaria, so Ruca avoids the stereo lariats. An assisted double drop kick. Ruca applies a waistlock, standing switch exchange. Ruca goes for the O'Connor roll, but Paxley holds onto the ropes. Dame tags herself in. Dame rocks Ruca with a forearm smash. Paxley with a step up enziguri. Dame body slams Ruca. Dame whips Ruca back first into the turnbuckles. Dame with a corner spear. Dame with a chop forearm combination. Dame tags in Paxley. Paxley repeatedly stomps on Ruca's chest. Ruca sweeps out the legs of Paxley. Ruca with a jackknife hold for a 1-2 kick out. Ruca wrenches on the shoulder of Paxley. Ruca sends Paxley to the corner. Ruca with a running back elbow smash. Ruca tags in Zaria, a double Irish whip, double hip toss, a double elbow drop for a 1-2 kick out. Zaria goes for a body slam, but Paxley lands back on her feet with some great athleticism. Paxley dodges the pump kick. Paxley tags in Dame. Dame talks smack to Zaria. A quick shoving contest. Dame ducks a clothesline from Zaria. Dame drops Zaria with a big boot for a 1-2 kick out. Zaria and Dame are trading back and forth shots in a double headbutt. Paxley tags herself in. Zaria with a big boot. Paxley responds with a flying crossbody block for a 1-2 kick out. Paxley applies a front face lock. Ruca tags herself in. Zaria sends Paxley face first into the canvas. Ruca with a slingshot X Factor. Ruca ducks a clothesline for Dame. Ruca with another X Factor. Ruca tags in Zaria. Ruca with a flying crossbody block off of Paxley's back. Very creative. Zaria sends Paxley crashing into Dame on the outside. So Ruca has complete control of the match. Dame tags herself in. Dame with a running drop kick against the rope. Dame sends Zaria to the corner. Dame with a corner spear. And then she tags in Paxley. Zaria dodges the step up enziguri. Paxley blocks the German suplex. Paxley drop kicks Zaria. Paxley with a running crossbody block into the turnbuckles. Dame wraps Paxley's body around the midsection of Zaria. Paxley tags in Dame. Dame with a short arm clothesline for a 1-2 kick out. Haymaker exchange. Dame chokeslams Zaria. Dame tags in Paxley. Paxley with a running somersault leg drop for a 1-2. Paxley drives her knees into Zaria's back and then applies a rear chin lock. Zaria with heavy body shots. Paxley answers with a step up enziguri for a 2 count. Paxley goes back to the rear chin lock. Paxley transitions into a front face lock. Paxley drops Zaria with a vicious DDT. Paxley tags in Dame. Paxley goes for another cross body block, but Zaria had it scouted and put her knees in the air. Zaria sidesteps Dame into the turnbuckles and tags in Ruca. Ruca clotheslines Paxley and scores 2 elbow knockdowns. Ruca with a double leg sweep. Ruca with a double basement dropkick, and Ruca pops back on her feet and does a running hip attack. Zaria tags herself in. She levels Paxley with a body avalanche. Ruca drop kicks Paxley into the turnbuckles, and then Zaria body slams Dame. And a assisted twisting splash for a 1-2 kick out. Paxley drops Ruca with a flying knee smash. Ruca drives Paxley face first into the ring apron. Zaria goes for the F5, but Dame lands back on her feet. Dame hits the code breaker, and then Zaria tags in Ruca. Dame ducks a clothesline from Ruca. Dame goes for a belly to back suplex, but Ruca lands back on her feet. Ruca with a modified backstabber. Zaria accidentally spears her tag team partner Ruca. Paxley sends Zaria tumbling to the floor. Paxley with a reckoning ball drop kick, and then Dame hits a straight right hand. Then Dame finishes up the match with a sky high for the 1-2-3. Your winners of the match, Izzi Dame and Tatum Paxley via pinfall. Next we have Ava Ray telling Izzi Dame that she will face Sol Ruca for the NXT Women's North American title at Great American Bash. Then we have Charlie Dempsey versus Tavon Heights, announced for next week. If Tavon wins, he will leave the No Quarter Catch crew, but if Tavon loses, he must remain there permanently, and they shake hands on it. We also have announced for next week Hank Walker and Tank Ledger versus the Culling for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Then we have announced Ricky Saints versus the Vanity Project in a gauntlet match on next week's NXT. If Saints wins, he gets a title match. And then we have Joe Hendry and Mike Santana versus the Ryze. That is next week as well. The fifth match is Yoski Amora versus Jasper Troy. The winner of the match will battle Oba Femi for the WWE NXT Championship at NXT Great American Bash. Amora ducks a clothesline from Troy to start off the match. Amora with forearm shivers. Troy kicks Amora in the gut. Troy body slams Amora. Troy with a leaping elbow drop for a 1 count. Troy whips Amora back first into the turnbuckles. Troy levels Amora with the body avalanche. Troy with a short arm clothesline for a 2 count. Troy applies a rear chinlock. Amora transitions it into a side headlock. Troy breaks the grip. Troy applies a wrist lock. Amora shrugs off 2 short arm clotheslines. Amora ducks a clothesline from Troy, and then Amora hits a belly to belly suplex and then a leaping elbow drop for a 1-2 kick out. Amora kicks Troy in the back, then applies a side headlock to wear down Troy. Troy with forearm shivers across the ribs of Amora. Troy whips Amora across the ring. Amora runs into Troy. Amora gets in a sumo pose and tells Troy to bring it. Amora with a running shoulder block. Troy responds with a sidewalk slam for a 2 count. Troy whips Amora across the ring. Amora ducks a clothesline from Troy. Then Amora clotheslines Troy over the top rope. Amora has complete control of the match. Amora whips Troy across the ring. Troy drops Amora with a leaping body block to get control of the match back. Troy with 3 running splashes and a pin for a 1-2 kick out. Troy tells Amora to get up. Troy with the world's strongest slam for a 2 count. Troy applies the abdominal stretch. Amora drives Troy shoulder first into the steel ring post. Amora ducks a clothesline from Troy. Amora unloads a series of chops. Amora with a forearm shiver. Amora runs into Troy. Troy hits the black hole slam for a 2 count. Troy goes for a running splash, but Amora gets his knees up in the air. Amora with some more rapid fire sumo strikes. Amora with a chop, jab combination in the corner. Amora repeatedly whips Troy back first into the turnbuckles. Amora with a delayed body slam. Amora with a spinning slam. Amora connects with the flying splash for the 1-2-3. After Amora won the match, Femi comes out on the outside, and then Javon Evans clocks Troy with a springboard missile dropkick. So your winner of the match and going to the Great American Bash to face Femi for the WWE NXT Championship is Yoski Amora. Next we have Jordynne Grace making her way to the ring. She says, I wanted to come out here tonight and be completely honest. Getting to the point is the hardest thing I ever had to do, but last week reminded me of something. It reminded me that I have to thrive under the pressure, and the bigger the battle, the bigger the win. So now I'm about to walk into Evolution, a historic premium live event, not just for WWE, but for women's wrestling. And this time I'm not watching from the sidelines, I'm a part of it. I'm going to make history alongside the best women's wrestlers in the world. but for the sake of complete honesty, I have to be something that I'm honestly terrified of being, and that's vulnerable, because I've been thinking a lot lately, asking myself, am I actually good enough to be here? Do I really belong in the WWE? And a lot of you know my journey. You know that I didn't grow up saying that I want to be a WWE superstar, but I did everything I had to in order to get here. I became someone that they couldn't ignore. So at Evolution, I'm gonna beat Jessie Jane and remind myself of exactly who I am. I may have not been born for this, but she gets interrupted by a fatal influence making their way down to the ring. Jessie Jane speaks. Alright, Jordynne, are you done with this incredible, pitiful sob story of yours? Yet? But I mean, congratulations on making it to the absolute highlight of your entire career, being the #1 contender to my title. I know. I'm fully aware that you can bench press more than me, but you can't carry. In fact, you will never carry this division the way I will. But by all means, continue flexing your muscles and hoping that one day a title will just magically fall into your arms. But I can promise you this, it won't be my NXT Women's Championship, and it darn sure won't be at Evolution, because everyone wants to keep saying I'm the most beatable champion in history. But unfortunately for all of you, and all of you idiots, I'm at the top of my game. Yeah, you can all keep crying about it while I keep winning. And while I'm on the subject, it reminds me you and Blake Monroe seem to be cut from the same cloth. You think you can just walk up in here and everyone is going to bow down at your feet. But lucky for you, fatal influence will always be here to remind you exactly where you stand. Quick reality check, honey. At Evolution, I'm gonna prove that I'm still gonna be champion. Jordynne Grace. Alright, JC, why don't you just do everyone a huge favor and shut up? You shocked the world when you won the NXT Women's Championship, but I'm not going to surprise anybody when I beat you at Evolution. I'm gonna be the new NXT Women's Champion. Grace gets into a brawl with Fatal Influence. Numbers game quickly catches up to Grace. Blake Monroe storms into the ring to make the save. Monroe with forearm shivers. Monroe ducks a clothesline from Hendry. Monroe with the swing blade. Grace drops JC with the spine buster. Ava appears on stage. Ava tells JC Jane to calm down and listen to what she has to say. At the Great American Bash, Fatal Influence will be battling Jordynne Grace and Blake Monroe. After she stops speaking, Grace and Monroe wipe out Fatal Influence as the show ends. And honestly, I thought it was a pretty good episode of NXT. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Take care, everybody. Peace.